I, Patricia Njeri Mambo, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this commission, touching on the matter in question, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Patricia, kindly give us your background.
I'm a supply chain officer, management officer for Kenya Police. I joined Kenya Police in January 2010 and have been in the same position since then. Previously, I worked as a management accountant with several companies after graduating from university in December 2006.
Madam, you got yourself into fairly deep water about restrictive tender. Tell me, was there anything that would have prevented a newspaper advertisement that so-and-so intends to purchase a helicopter? Anything that prevented that from happening?
I don't know.
But would you agree with me that there is no impediment to placing an advertisement that you need a helicopter and telling bidders respond within 15 days or 30 days? You can do that, can't you?
It can be done.
It can be done. Do you know why it was not done?
No, I don't.
You don't know. Do you know why two people were given bids? Two were willing.
I don't.
Thank you.
The tender process that you went through for this subject aircraft and the others that you've managed to undertake as a technical person, would you find any differences?
Well, to be honest, I don't find any major difference as such. The only difference is that in this particular evaluation exercise, I was co-opted at the middle phase, whereas during all other tendering processes, I've been involved from preliminary, technical, and the acceptance phase.
KWS is the maintenance unit for Kenya Police Air Wing. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have a maintenance agreement with them.
You have a maintenance agreement with them. You've been maintaining their Bell helicopters.
Correct.
Without any difficulties.
When you mean difficulties, to what level are you considering the difficulties to be?
Have you had any problems with them maintaining their aircraft?
Problems, no.
You haven't had any problems. No. So if they purchased the Bell, it would have fitted in the same maintenance agreement, wouldn't it?
Correct.
They purchased the Eurocopter. They had to get another person to maintain that helicopter, correct?
True.
Do you know who they appointed to maintain their Eurocopter?
Well, that can easily be sourced from the Kenya Aviation Authority.
No, I'm asking you, do you know who they appointed to maintain?
I don't know.
You do not know. Overall, the Bell had very major distinct advantages to the Eurocopter, correct?
I wouldn't really say that, because if we are to analyze model by model, the Eurocopter might also have some of its superior features as opposed to the Bell 407.
Again, I'm looking at recommendation, not blame game. If you had been, your advice had been sought, administration, police, and Kenya Police, what would you have advised? They are acquiring helicopters from public funds. What would you have advised?
Sorry, advised to?
Would you have advised same family or different families?
Excuse me, and I hate to interrupt. Mr. Mugo here does not know the requirements of the police to be able to say what type is best for them. That's not his mandate. He can only act according to the requirements of the client. And in this case, he was called in to evaluate technically these two, the tender document and what was on the table. He cannot start recommending, you need a 7-seater, you need this kind of plane. That's not his mandate.
No, of course, it is not. Question is this one, that in the lead examination, he has mentioned some recommendation, and he has even compared Bell to the Eurocopter. And I think what he says, if you were asked to advise, what would you do? But you could be right that advice should stop.
Yeah.
You know, because he has not been asked to give any advice so far. And he has candidly said that he was called in middle of the process. So these are the two things which is on record before us, Mr.
Yes,
Gachi.
Judge, I think it's necessary for the Commission to take this matter a little bit more. We are dealing with recommendations by the witness. It can be that he's comfortable to give recommendations, a whole string of recommendations, and then it is uncomfortable for me to ask him yet another recommendation. It will be quite unfair for me to be cut midstream in cross-examination.
Let's see how far you go with
Thank you,
that
Judge.
question, and then I'll interrupt.
We need to be extremely careful in relation to opinions that may be peddled by witnesses who have absolutely no knowledge on certain matters, because if we do not do that, then we may be misleading the public. This witness has very clearly said that he's an expert in Bell aircraft. He's not even an expert in maintaining Eurocopter. This witness is not an expert in police operations. So for us to allow him to start giving opinions on police operations, what is good for them, what is bad for them, I think is unfair, and will be creating the wrong impression in the public